Okay. Shem Hashem Na'aseh V'Natzliach. So it's Hamer. I have some new faces here. Hamer. Hamer started when? Yesterday? Today or yesterday?
Oh, yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Hamer is a very special time. First of all, do you guys know where the word Hamer came from? If you know, don't say, and if you don't know, try to guess.
Somebody we know?
Okay. Everyone seems like he knows. I don't want you to guess. So, Hamer, as I'm sure they've explained to you, is this 6-week program. It's also called Shovavim, which I'm sure you've heard of in the past. And it comes from, we say every night in Arvit, Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yamenu. We're talking about the Torah Kedosha. We say it is our lives and it's the length of our days. On volume, if you could just mute, that would be great. Or I'll mute you. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yamenu. We say it's our lives and it's the length of our days. So the acronym for it is Hem Chayenu V'Orech Yamenu. It's Hamer. If you look inside the letters a little bit, they created a word called Hamer. What's so special at Hamer? What are you supposed to be doing? I want to tell you guys my experience from Hamer, where I came from, and how Hamer took me, the route it took me, and how I got to where I am today. I'm sure you guys have heard lots of things about me. I went to North Shore High School, a regular co-ed yeshiva. I was probably not learning 5 minutes of Torah a day. I was probably not even learning a few minutes of Torah on average a day. And I'm sure most of you can relate. Coming to yeshiva is more like, you don't know what to expect. It's like a little bit out of the blue. I'm sure half of you probably don't even know why you're in this yeshiva. But for the most part, those of you who know why you're here, you didn't know what you were going to be expecting and how long you're going to be learning for, and how the extension after Sukkot from 9:30 to 11, and everything was longer, and I'm sure it was a little bit hard in the beginning, and probably still is hard for some of you. To me, it was something crazy. Going from not learning like a minute of Torah a day, let's say a minute of Torah a day, to learning, let's say on average, let's say regular 9 hours a day, so from 9 to 12, and then 3 to 6, and 8 to 11, 9 hours a day, I would say, of learning. And it's kind of crazy. And here and there, you're like messing around, you're on your phone, you're watching movies, you're doing all these things. And then Hamer starts. And Hamer, for me at least, was a time where it was like, just cut everything out. It's time to take advantage, and it's time to put your full effort in and see where your real potential is. I went from learning less than 5 minutes a day before yeshiva to learning 13, 14, 15 hours a day daily during Hamer. And I'm only telling you this, and I'm only going to tell you how many hours I learned, just to show you guys how far you can come and how much potential each and every one of you have. And I'm sure most of you are probably learning more Torah a day than I was. It's not like I wasn't religious. I was keeping Shabbat, I was keeping kosher, whatever, the basics. I was praying in minyan. But learning Torah was already chassidut. It was extra. So starting Hamer, it was one of the most exciting times in the world. It was like, I don't know if those of you relate, but like imagine a fourth quarter basketball game. You finally get onto the court. The game is tied. Your heart is racing. You finally get to play. And you don't know what to expect. You don't know who's guarding you, who's not guarding you. You don't know if you're going to score. You don't know if you're not going to score. And it's every second is your heart is racing, and you're running back and forth, and you're hustling, and you're sweating. For me, that was the Hamer experience. It was going from 5 minutes of Torah, not even a day, to 15 hours of Torah a day. A huge jump. And just cutting everything else out and going full out, reaching your full potential. There is no other time in the world you guys will be able to do something that you're doing these next 6 weeks. These next 6 weeks is the only time that you're literally allowed, it's mutar, you're allowed to be selfish and only focus about yourself, only focus on yourself, only learn Torah and do nothing else. When you go back home, you're not going to have that opportunity. When you walk out of yeshiva, you're not going to have that opportunity. These are the only 6 weeks of your lives while you're in yeshiva, during Shovavim, during Hamer, that you're going to be able to have this experience to just learn Torah, nothing else. And it's mamish. I saw so many guys, it was chaval that they didn't take advantage of this during these 6 weeks and they just waited it out. They made it seem like, oh, it's just a contest. I don't want to be part of a contest. There were guys, I'm telling you, who were stark learners and like, no, I only learn lishma. I don't want to do a contest. I'm telling you, the next 6 weeks, it's okay, learn not lishma. Learn to be able to beat the guy next to you. Learn to be able to be number one. It's okay, these next 6 weeks, because you'll realize these next 6 weeks you'll be able to accomplish something that you've never been able to accomplish before in your lives. I realized during these 6 weeks that I am literally capable of accomplishing anything at any time of day, at any time of night. I didn't think in my life that I would be able to sit a Thursday night from 8:30 p.m. till 7 a.m. learning Torah. I didn't think so. I didn't think it was possible. Hamer taught me that it was possible. You don't realize how much you guys are capable of until you actually put in all of your effort during Hamer. If you guys were capable, I would tell you even to shut your phones off for 6 weeks and go full force, but none of you are capable of that. Myself, I'm not capable of it. Hamer is unbelievable. You don't know what it really has to offer until you actually jump into it. I'm going to tell you guys this only so that you guys realize how much potential you really have. Not because I'm trying to be full of myself, just so you see how much you can come from literally learning nothing to be learning so much. I don't know what the kind is. Is it 400 club, 500 club? What is it? This is 4 and 500? 400. So my year, there was a lot of rules. You can learn during these times. You're not allowed to learn during these times. You couldn't learn from like 1 to 6 a.m., 1 to 7 a.m., something like that. Yeah. You couldn't learn during specific times of the day. You couldn't learn in specific places. You had to learn in yeshiva or in a Beit Knesset or in all these different types of rules. I'm sure they still apply today. And there was for us, it was a 400 club and a 500 club. If you just competed, you joined the club, you joined into the learning club, you get to be part of, barbecue or whatever it was. You get 400 hours, which is good. You get Rabina's Or Chaim with a signature, which is really cool. Then there was a 500 club, which 500, they say you get the 400, you get the Or Chaim, you get the barbecue, and you get something else. They didn't tell us exactly what it was in the beginning. Then eventually they said you're going to meet a huge mekubal, huge kabbalah. Still? Huge gadol. For us, there was no 700. No one was, with the restrictions, there was no 700. Okay. No. So my goal the whole year was those 6 weeks was to strive to reach 500. I said, I don't care what it takes. I could go endless nights without sleeping, with sleeping 5-hour nights. I don't care what it is to reach that 500. And I don't care if it's showing off. I was always trying to like hide my paper so that people wouldn't see and all that. You don't need to do that. It's 6 weeks. You're allowed to be full of yourself. You're allowed to go at it. It's okay. Do it because I'm telling you, you don't know what it's going to take to make you realize what your full potential really is. It takes a little bit of going outside your box and not being the normal person you're supposed to be to reach your full potential. And so I put this in my mind and I said, these are the 6 weeks, and I literally cut myself out from everything. I put my phone on the side. I put everything on the side. Every second was Torah. You can ask Rav Tzadok how our year was during those 6 weeks. Lunch, you have earphones in, you listen to the shir. Going on the treadmill, earphones in. I was getting a haircut. It was to the extent, I'm telling you guys, I'm not like this anymore. I'm telling you, it was to the extent that I would go to the bathroom and I would have to force myself to think about something else so I wasn't thinking about Torah. That's how these 6 weeks are supposed to be. It's supposed to be only ach v'rak, just Torah, mamash. If there's something else on your mind, that means you're deviating from what your purpose is these next 6 weeks. And don't think, oh, but I can't, I'm not at that level, I can't. What, was I at that level? I wasn't learning 2 minutes of Torah a day. You have no excuse. I'm sure a handful of you, if not most of you, were learning more Torah than I was. And you're probably at a higher level than I was. You have no excuse. And I put this in my mindset, and I reached over 500 hours. And not only that, and I'm only telling you this to give you more chizuk, I went back to America in the middle of Hamer. Understand, I went back to America. I had a flight. I was there for about a week. In America with the Tum'ah, with all of whatever was there, during Hamer. And I still put it to my head, I said, I'm not giving up. I'm reaching it. I'm going for it. And every night before I got to bed, I'm telling you the truth. Every night before I got to bed, I had my paper next to me with my sheets, filling in how many hours, making it black. I think I still have a sheet. It's unbelievable. And you only will get to see it after you finish these 6 weeks, how much potential you guys really have. After the 6 weeks end, you'll look back at your paper, look back at everything you've accomplished, you'll be like, wow, how did I just do that? And you think, oh, it's just Torah. You don't know, it'll change your life automatically without you even realizing it. And you won't realize it till a long run. I'm gonna tell you a story from something that happened my year during Hamer, which was a vivid story, and it changed all of our lives. If you guys know the story, don't interrupt. We were at Ravina before Corona, pre-Corona. Ravina used to have nets at his house on Shabbat. I'm sure you guys know, it was the best. They have nets with breakfast and with like Shabbat food. We'd have like meat at 6 a.m. The best. We were at his house nets during Hamer on Shabbat. And there was a rule, I think there was that Shabbat, it was like double hours, and you could stay up all night learning, something like that. So there's a handful of guys who stayed up all night learning. And there was also a handful of guys who would stay up all night learning Thursday nights, because that was also, you could get hours for Thursday nights. So there was one guy at Rabina's house, nets, on Shabbat morning. And in the middle of Musaf, all of a sudden, as we're davening, we just hear, boom. The guy flat out drops on the floor. Knocked out, black, on the ground. I've never seen such a thing, such a quick instinct how Ravina moved in my life. Ravina jumped, ran to the phone, called Hatzalah, not a flinch. He didn't even look who it was or what happened. He called Hatzalah on Shabbat. We're all like, what just happened? Hatzalah comes, we're starting to wake the guy up, like pour water on him, give him to drink. We're like, what happened? You know, like, okay, we need to hear how this guy's passed down in the middle of Ravina. Like, this is a story. The guy, I don't know if he wants me to mention his name, so I'm not going to say the name. But the guy, huge tzaddik, he went all out Hamer, all out. And I believe he was up for 3 days straight. He was learning Torah from Thursday till Shabbat. Thursday night, Friday night. He stayed up all Friday night, and he was up on Shabbat, and he knocked out. I'm not telling you guys that you have to knock out. But understand how much koach you can really have by doing such a thing. You probably weren't capable of staying up 2 nights in a row partying. Imagine how much you could possibly do. I don't know, maybe. Imagine how much you guys can do when you're learning Torah for a few nights. You don't know how much koach you have. This guy today is still one of the most chazak guys. He's learning Torah strong. There's nothing more important than Torah. His mind is always on Torah. He walks the Torah. You could see as he's walking, he's thinking. There's nothing that stands in his... He's just always thinking Torah. He texted me the other night. That's why I thought of the story. Asked me a question about Torah, about halakha. It's unbelievable because that experience stuck with him and it changed the rest of his life. And I'm not telling you guys that you're going to have one of these experiences, but I'm telling you that Hamer itself, after 6 weeks of just going all out, you will see your full potential and you'll see how much you've really accomplished. I'm going to tell you even more. Don't do it lishma. People say, oh, you know, learning lishma is for better. It's better. It's a higher level. I'm going to tell you during Hamer, don't learn lishma. It's okay. Why? 6 weeks, just learn. Just learn. I don't care. People compliment me, go, wow, you're doing amazing, this and that. Just do it all the way. You could do whatever the heck you want later. I don't care what profession you want to go into. I don't care if you want to be a businessman, you want to be learning all your life. Whatever you want to do afterwards, do it. These 6 weeks, take advantage. I'm telling you, you're never gonna have this experience ever again. Even your Shana Bed, if those of you are coming Shana Bed, you won't have the experience you had Shana. It won't be. I'm telling you, it's one of the most amazing experiences you'll ever have, and it will change your life for the rest of your life. It will literally change it. You will have wow. You will have felt, I have now felt this accomplishment that I never thought I was capable of doing, and I know I'm capable of doing so much more. You have to actually feel ki hem chayenu v'orech hamenu. When you're learning Torah, someone came up to me the other day in yeshiva and he said, like, I don't feel the love for it. Like, whatever, I'm learning, I'm good, I'm learning, but I don't feel it. Hamer makes you feel it. When you get into that level, put all the garbage aside. No social media, no Snapchat, no Instagram. I don't know what level you guys are on. I'm not looking, I don't care. No social media, no Snapchat, no Instagram, no Facebook, no movies. Delete Netflix, for God's sake. Just learn. Just go all out. As much learning as you can. And you know one thing, and I know most of you are probably thinking, but what if I get burnt out? What if I burn out? My Shana Aleph, during Hamer, you don't know how many people would come up to me and tell me, relax, you're going to burn out, relax, you're going to burn out. That gave me more motivation. That should push you further. There's no such thing as burning out. Burning out is all in your mind. Burning out means my head thinks that I'm not capable of doing this, so let me stop. If you tell yourself that you're really capable of doing it, you'll never stop. And don't think, oh, but how can I do this for the rest of my life? You don't need to do it for the rest of your life. Do it for 6 weeks. After the 6 weeks, then talk to me. But just do it. And when you ask me why not for Lishma, but when you're doing Lishma, then you say, you know what? I don't want to write down my hours. People are going to see that. Write it down. Give yourself chizuk. Push yourself. Because these are the next 6 weeks. Learn every second you've got. When you're lying down in bed and the alarm rings, the first alarm out of 7, you know what I'm talking about. The first out of 7 alarms ring. You're lying there like, oh, it's like 7, 10. Like I can do a little bit more. These 6 weeks, don't do that. Jump. Jump out of it. Like the first halakha says in Shulchan Aruch, "Yitkaber ka'ari la'amod b'boker." Jump out of bed like a lion. You gotta run to tefillah. Run. I'll tell you even more. I don't know if I wanted to tell you this, but I'll tell it to you. I got to such an extreme during Hamer. Again, I'm not like this. I'm not like this anymore. But I got to such an extreme, and this is the only way I was able to tell my capabilities and my opportunity, that every night we would walk to Rav Tzadok's house and back for shiur, 5 minutes back. And I was very exact with my hours. I wouldn't cheat, like, oh, if I missed a few minutes here, a few minutes there, I wouldn't like write a full hour, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, you missed. So I didn't want to do Bitul Torah, those 5-10 minutes. I memorized the halakha and Shulchan Aruch, and every time I was walking there and back, I would repeat this halakha there and back, hundreds of times over and over and over and over again. Why? So as not to miss a few minutes. And you're going to tell me, oh, but what's the difference? You learned the halakha already, or who cares for those extra few minutes? It doesn't make that much of a difference. You're right, it doesn't. But for that reason, my life has changed forever. I will never forget what that halakha was about. And I'll never forget that experience. I'll never forget how much I love Torah because of that experience. You'll only be able to get to this level by putting your all. Don't worry about burning out. Burning out is all in your head. If you convince yourself and you tell yourself, there's no such thing as burning out. You know why? Because anytime you're on fire, the fire lights. And what happens whenever the fire starts going down? You reignite it again. You don't let the fire burn out. Start that fire. Light up the fire. Ignite the fire. Start. Don't let it hold you back. Don't let anyone who's holding you back throw them away right now. Don't let anyone stop you. It's like I was saying before. It's like a fourth quarter in the game. You step on the court. It's that feeling your heart is racing. That's how it should feel every second of him. 6 weeks. 6 weeks, all you got. Afterwards, I don't care what you want to do. Do these 6 weeks. It'll change your life. I know there were guys. There was one guy, I remember. Yeah, he learned 600-700 hours, and after Hamer, he died. He couldn't learn for like a month. He couldn't. He wasn't capable. Am I telling you to do that? No. But because of those 6 weeks that he learned so much, that guy today is still chazak and he's still learning. And he's still connected. It's only because of those 6 weeks. Had he not done that, he would never have done anything. Give it all you got. I'm telling you, you're going to come back there in 6 weeks and tell me, wow, thank you for showing me what capabilities I have, what's my opportunity, what I'm able to reach. I couldn't believe it. I'm telling you myself, I couldn't believe what I was capable of doing. I couldn't believe that I was able to learn more than 500 hours of Torah in 6 weeks. I didn't think that was possible. It's possible. Most of you are probably learning more than I was before yeshiva. You're more than capable. Push yourself all you can be. Whatever it is, whatever you like to learn, whatever you don't like to learn, just push yourself and go. Attend any shiurim. You're going to have your friends who are not at your level, who aren't in the shiur right now. They're going to tell you, what are you doing? We're eating. Be normal. Tell them, get the heck out of my face. You want to be behind me? Make it a contest. It's okay. That's why I keep telling you. It's okay. Don't let it be lishma. It's okay if it's not lishma these next 6 weeks. Because the rest of your life, you're going to know what lishma means from these 6 weeks. You won't know what lishma is until you go to these 6 weeks not lishma. That's why even the Rambam writes in Ilchot Teshuvah, when he talks about how we're supposed to serve God, he says the correct way to serve Hashem is not out of fear, it's out of love. But for children, he also says women, children and women, because back then the women and the children weren't at the highest levels. He says for those people, we teach them out of fear, we teach them, we give them candies and we give them treats and stuff like that so that they come and do it. It's okay to do it not lishma in the beginning because we're not at the highest level, so that eventually you'll realize what lishma really is. Give it everything you got, and anytime you're feeling, oh, I can't do this anymore, re-listen to the shiur. Give yourself more mussar. Give it to you more, because you know what? Every second, Hashem is watching you, and He's so proud of you for what you're doing. You don't know the marks you're making in Shamayim for every second of Torah during these 6 weeks. You don't know. learning Torah for 6 weeks straight, without any interruption, without any breaks. Again, obviously sleeping, eating, stuff like that. There's nothing that compares to it. You don't know. The Mekubalim, the Kabbalists talk about how much of how many things you can fix, how many tikkunim you can make during the Shovavim, during these 6 weeks. You don't even know. And the best way to do it is with Torah. And it's brought down. Anyone know what's the worst sin a person can do in the world? Huh? Okay. Okay. All terrible sins. What is the one sin that you can't get atonement in this world for? The Rambam writes in Hilchot Teshuvah, there's one sin a person can do, he can't get Teshuvah in this world. He has to go through so much to get Teshuvah for. That's desecrating God's name, doing Chilul Hashem. Right? The Rabbeinu Yonah in Sharei Teshuvah, he writes, not like the Rambam. He says there are 2 ways a person can do Teshuvah on Chilul Hashem. And I'll tell you what I mean. Imagine, I heard this once from Rav Yosef Biton. He said there's a guy who goes on an airplane during Slichot. There's a custom for Sfaradim, also for Ashkenazim in the last 10 days. During Slichot, you blow the shofar. So the guy was on a flight, and he said, look, I have to blow the shofar. The can't miss blowing the shofar. Slichot, minhag. He gets up in the middle of the flight, everyone's sleeping. Everyone wakes up. He's like, yeah, show everyone what it means to blow the shofar. I was like, Eze chamorata. What a chilul Hashem you mean? Right? The guy thought he was doing such a mitzvah. Eze chilul Hashem. Rabbeinu Yonah says there's 2 ways you can fix chilul Hashem. 1, kiddush Hashem. If you sanctify God's name, the way you sanctify God's name, you can actually atone for the chilul Hashem according to Rabbeinu Yonah. And he says one other way. Anyone know? Besides Reitan?
Torah.
Learning Torah. You can fix anything in the world by learning Torah. They would go up to Rav Ovadia and ask him. People who weren't so religious, weren't such a high level, they say, we heard there's a big thing to fast during the 6 weeks. During Hamer, during Shovavim. He's like, what should we do? He's like, don't fast. Learn Torah. He's like, the Torah will have more of an effect on you than the fast. You're not at that level to do fast. Learn Torah. These 6 weeks are on such a high level. You can accomplish so much. You will really be able to see your full potential through these 6 weeks of focusing only on yourself. Put everything aside. Put everyone behind. Tell those friends that you're talking to at home, these next 6 weeks, I'm pulling my full attention to my learning. I'm sorry, we'll talk later. Make the conversation short. Make your learning the ikar, the main thing you're doing, and everything else the primary. Again, it's important to exercise also. It's important to eat. It's important to have relaxing times. Listen to shiurim that are enjoyable. Don't force yourself to learn things you don't like. Listen to things that you enjoy. Walk around and have Torah flow in your mind. Everything you think about is Torah. You will never regret it. It's one of the most amazing experiences you can go through. You guys really, I'm telling you, the people who aren't here are chaval. They're not going to take advantage as much as you will. Take advantage. It's okay. Make it a competition. You don't have to show off, but make it a competition. Show that you're number 1. Try to get to the top. And show Hashem that you really love Him. Again, even if it's not lishma, it's okay. Do it not lishma. It's completely fine. The only way you'll fully be able to understand what lishma is to go through 6 weeks of just Torah, even not lishma. Any questions? What was the halacha? Good question. Next.
You don't remember?
Hilchot Pesach. Siman Tov Kaf Tet.
Are you really not supposed to call your parents during these 6 weeks?
No, again, I don't mean take it to that extent. I'll tell you my experience during the 6 weeks, during Hamer or during Yeshiva. I would call my parents once a week, Friday before Shabbat, 5 minutes, say Shabbat Shalom, talk to them, so finish. You explain to them these next 6 weeks are very, very important. You're testing me. You can test me.
I want to see what
I could be making a mistake.
You're not saying what the halacha is.
Okay, Tivdok. It's in Chelik Hey. I think it's the beginning of Hilchot Pesach.
What's the halacha?
Tivdok. Someone raised their hand over here. Any other questions over here? In person gets.
What do you say to if your friends say that you're flipping out? What do you tell them?
Say again. I can't hear you.
If your friends accuse you of becoming more firm and flipping out, what do you tell them?
Oh, Very good question. Josh Berman asked, so what if your friends tell you that you're flipping out? What if your friends tell you you're getting brainwashed? What do you tell them?
Okay.
You tell them sometimes you need some brainwashing. Sometimes you need to clean the impurity out of your minds. You shouldn't care what other people think during these 6 weeks, because these 6 weeks are going to help you so much more in life, and those people are going to be staying behind. You see it or no? I think it's tough to. Could be making a mistake. I think it's the first siman in Pesach. Huh? I don't know. I could be making a mistake. Huh? Look at this. Look at the first siman. I could be making a mistake. No, why? First halachah Pesach. Yeah. Which siman? Tav Kaftan. Oh, אמרתי. Kaf. You almost scared me there. Any other question? I don't know.
Yeah. It's a tricky question though.
You guys all decide.
I have to apply to college. Landers, but it's gonna be like more Torah. But I want to do Hamer.
You have to do it during the 6 weeks?
I want to apply to this. Yeah.
Why now?
And I'm gonna lose out on my sports time.
Why would you do it now? You don't have to.
Wait, the fuck?
So you also take care of it.
Alright, Shira and all these things you consider learning?
Yeah.
For sure.
Obviously.
Why not? My night sitter every night is with my wife. We watch Shirin.
Yeah, so you know how like on Thursday, Fridays they have like all night learning. It's like I want to be able to do those, but like I literally can't because like I can't stay up that long. Like I could maybe push myself and like only take like maybe 4 hours sleep instead of like 6. Should I really try to do that?
I always thought to myself that I wasn't capable of getting less than 7-8 hours of sleep during high school. On average, while I was in yeshiva, I was getting about 5 hours of sleep a night. 5 hours. And I was only capable of doing that after I saw what I was able to do during him. You will see that you're able to do, and even if you generally are not able to, you will only be able to realize what your real capabilities are if you put your all in these next 6 weeks. Put yourself to that effort. You will wake up tired. Guys, I don't know if you want me to tell you the sleep analogy. I think Edwin really likes it. There's an analogy I give. There's an analogy I give like this. The analogy is like this. You guys ever have a phone battery that if you charge it too much, it like burns out, and like when you take it out of the charge, all of a sudden it like drops to 80. You know what I'm talking about? You know why that happens? You overcharge the phone sometimes, and the phone battery gets burnt. It destroys. So have you ever been that you've slept like a good 12-hour night and you wake up and you're like yawning and you're still tired? It's the same exact thing. It's the same exact thing. The body, the way the Rambam puts it, person needs to get 6 to 8 hours of sleep. If a person needs to get 6 hours of sleep, I asked one of my Rebbeim, he told me that he gets less than that. Every person themselves. But more than that, more than 8, 8.5, 9 hours already, you're burning the battery. So now it takes it from the 100% and you're going down. Every time you take it out of the charger, you wake up, you're tired already. You need to get what you need and go for it. During this time, I would tell you, take even a little bit less. Push yourself out of your comfort zone. Push yourself where you're not used to. Again, if you see after going a few all-nighters that you're really not capable, stay there. No one says you have to stay up all night. But give it everything you got. And anytime you realize, oh, I can't do this, I'm burning out, listen to the shir again. Give yourself more chizuk. Don't let the mind convince you because it's just Yitzhar. It's not real. There's no such thing as burning out. You know how long it takes for a fire to burn out? Go look. You light up a building on fire. Tell me, without water, tell me how long it takes for the fire to go out. You know how long it takes? And imagine someone who keeps lighting the fire up again. You keep relighting the fire of the house. Imagine you keep reigniting yourself with Torah, with more chizuk, with more chizuk. You think it's ever going to stop? The fire will never stop. What stops it is when someone comes and tells you, hey, you know what? You igniting the fire doesn't work anymore. And they stop your fire. They cut your fire out. They convince you that, not even with water is something else. They convince you that your fire doesn't ignite. Don't let anyone convince you that. Say Yetzirah. Ignite yourself again with fire, with more Torah and more Torah. Man.
2 things. First,
Pick one of them.
actually one. Fine. Basically, so you were like learning all day long, like shiurim every time you were walking? Like it wasn't like you were chilling for less than half an hour a day, correct?
Again, look, it takes time to put on clothes and to get ready and to get to yeshiva. But no, I was here before davening every day. We were learning. We were learning after davening. I was learning through breakfast. Once shiur started, I would get the breakfast, go into shiur room, so we wouldn't miss a minute. It was like that. That's how it was. Yeah, maybe in the afternoons a little bit. You go to exercise, you go to work out, you need a breather. It's perfectly fine. It's normal.
You didn't feel like you wanted outlets or
The outlets were the Torah.
then you're like boring or like not down anymore.
That's why it's called Hamer. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yamenu. It's your life. Make these next 6 weeks Torah your life. Worry afterwards about being bored. Worry afterwards about it being boring and not fun. But these next 6 weeks, ki hem chayenu ve'orech yamenu. There's nothing more important. Is that both of your questions in one? What's the second?
You need to buy websites like for shiur.
Torah Anytime. It's a great app. There's millions. Torah Anytime. I can recommend you rabbis if you like. There's amazing rabbis. We can talk about it afterwards, but they're great rabbis over there. 1 second.
You don't think it's better to be like 10 hours to be really productive and like get everything in and make sure you know it rather than 15 hours, like it's not really going in so much because you're really tired.
So again, I'm not saying to be exhausted while you learn. If you realize that you're exhausted, and I'll teach you something actually really cool. During Hamer, I learned something really interesting, is that when you feel exhausted and tired and you only got 5 hours of sleep and you feel like you need another 2 hours, if you put your head down in the base for 10 minutes, you're good to go. It's called a power nap. Your body feels tired, so you put your head down, you let the whole thing shut down. Your body just needs to shut down and restart. If it shuts down and restarts again, you're good to go. You're good to go. I'm not saying kill yourself and make yourself down, but take advantage. Don't, this time, I wouldn't tell you like the rest of the year. The rest of the year, yeah, you're right. Take 10 hours of quality rather than quantity. During this time, do as much as you can, learn as much as you can, go over as much as you can, whether it's Chazar, whether it's English, Mussar books, whatever it is, do as much as you can and get as much as you can in both quality and quantity. Edwin?
One that I add on your, what's called now learning the Shema. Last year, they had like out of control, it was like literally kids like saying, when you go to sleep, you know, like they were putting us down, like, because it was so close. It's like top 3 was very close. Then I remember, like I was one of the first like 3 to get to win the shots. Then Corona hit. Like, yeah, sorry, we can give you your shots. You know, you gotta go on your flight. And boy, you want shots? I'm like, no, like, you gotta come back on bed. And then I realized, whoa, you know, like even though I didn't get the shots, because I saw the paper again, I'm like, that many hours, and I didn't even get my reward I was supposed to get, and it hit me hard so much I learned, so much more so that like I realized I didn't know one letter of Gemara. I mean, I didn't know one word of Gemara what it meant, and now Hashem, I got my shots.
I'm gonna tell you even more. And if there's no more questions, I'll end with this. The last week of Hamer, after, so whatever I told you, I went back to America, and to meet the Kabbalists or the Gadol, whatever it was, you had to reach 500. I reached 500. But I went back to America the week that we're going to meet the Kabbalists. So I missed meeting the Kabbalists. I missed the prize. I didn't get the prize. I think maybe Rabbi David. I don't remember who they went to. Whatever it was, my point is, that's what mitoch shelo lishma ba'al lishma is. You do it for the wrong reasons, it ends up becoming the right reasons. So,